What's the meaning of life, kids and campers? The meaning of life is for us all to understand our interior, our own personal soul intention of why we are individually here, and bring that into its full blossoming, and bring that into its full blossoming so we can produce the seed, so we can share that down to our progeny or our friends or our community in order to make each successive generation or each successive, iteration of human consciousness that much more beautiful. So through the birth chart, every single symbol, every planet, every point, every sign, every house has clues and suggestions of the best of all possible expressions of these archetypes. And also concurrently, since we live in a three-dimensional world of polarity, also what happens if we fall asleep at the wheel, we go unconscious, or we act from our fear, sorrow, anger, trauma, response, trauma, body, etc. No judgment on any of that. It's just the nature of growth and evolution. And so we understand that in each archetype, we can say something like, well, the sun, just easy, right? Well, the sun, it gives us light, it gives us life. I'm looking outside at beautiful trees and flowers, and I can see that thanks to the sun. And sometimes, well, every day, the sun goes down and it gets dark, and I can't see those things. And so, like the sun, there are times where I can feel really bright and everything's really obvious. And like the sun, there are times where I can go dark and everything's horrible. Nothing means anything. And so, in just observing the astrological archetypes as archetypes, they offer suggestions as to how to tune our perceptive focus, tune our guitar into the notes that we are to most lovingly and consciously play. That being said, again, very quickly, there are very specific symbols in the astrology chart, and you mentioned them through the nodes of the moon or these eclipse points, where, long story short, this magical interface between the mystery, the veil, and three-dimensionality, that's where things get a little more malleable. And so when we understand certain things in our chart, say the south node of the moon as being a soul intention, we could say like, oh, Ryan, you have a south node in Cancer, first house, blah, 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 astrological jargon for those who don't know the symbology. But that can easily be translated by astrologer that says, no, wait, Ryan, your soul intention is Cancer, to be a healer, gardener, farmer, nurturer, cultivator. First house in a powerful leadership role, pioneering his way, pioneering a new way of healing. Okay, so I can look at that and I can say, oh, wow, that's my sole purpose. Does that make it easier? No, that turns up the volume on all the complexes that may keep me from that, or to actualize that in less than sophisticated ways. Hyper emotionality, feeling too much, letting the emotions dominate and control the actions, where the not removal, but uh, the decreasing their intensity can actually be very beneficial. So we integrate that north node in Capricorn. Long story short, I could look at my chart and say, yo, dude, you've got incredibly powerful emotions, and the heart that you have is here to be a healer in the world. Just don't let it devolve into the shadow emotions too much. And when you do feel those, remember the power and the strength of deliberation and maturity and wisdom. Capricorn, integrate that in. Oh, okay. And then through this information, I can check myself when I wax unconscious, or when I devolve into these less than savory expressions of my being. I can recall, to the best of my ability, my understanding of the astrology And that acts like a tuning fork where then I have to do the work. Nothing's going to do it for me but myself, where I have to do the work to then say, okay, all right, you're afraid. Well, maybe it's important to integrate some courage into that. Okay, yeah, thanks for the reminder, Ryan. You're welcome, Ryan. Wait, who's the Ryan that's talking to Ryan? Ah, it can get crazy like